Welcome to the night mode edition of the Mark Jackson Show on the Come and Talk to Me Network. I'm Mark Jackson. This is my dynamic co-host, my guy, Blue. Guess what, Blue? We have ourselves an NBA champ, the Boston Celtics. Congratulations
the
to the Boston Celtics.
Congrats.
They left us no doubt.
Huh?
They left us no doubt.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. Matter of fact, I saw the email come right through. It's time for Cancun. Come on, Luka. Come on, Kyrie. Everybody is ready. This is my last chance. Hold on. Do I have anything special to say today? No, because that was an atrocious effort from the Mavericks. Again, I told y'all last episode, it's been a wrap. Everybody falls back to who they are. We saw the Celtics show their true identity, and we watched the Mavericks show their true identity too, which is a team that can be great and a team that can also be mediocre sometimes. And the truth showed tonight. We watched Jason Tatum do work. He didn't get the MVP. We could get into that too, Pops. But what did you see tonight?
I saw a veteran team that had playoff experience, that didn't panic, that was going back home, but didn't think that home was going to answer the question. They truly believed that the way that they made the adjustments and the way that they went after it was going to be what mattered most. They took care of business, especially in that first half, separated themselves. I thought it was outstanding individual and collective defense to set the tone by the Boston Celtics, disrupted everything that the Mavs were doing. They were so comfortable the previous game in Dallas, all of a sudden getting under their skin and then playing with that pace. And then once they're making those three-point shots, they're awfully tough to beat. It was a stellar performance across the board by the Boston Celtics and a tremendous accomplishment by those guys who've been knocking on the door for so many years to finally crack it open and do it in an emphatic fashion.
Yeah, now, Pops, let me not get ahead of myself. We do have to shout out Underdog Fantasy real quick. Go ahead and click the link in the description. Use the promo code MARK. They're matching the first-time deposit of up to $250. We appreciate y'all, man. And go ahead and like and subscribe, comment, and let us know who your prediction is for the NBA champions next year. Let us know in the comment section. All right, Pops. Now back to the game, man. Where do I want to go? Let's just get right into it. Do you feel that Jaylen Brown deserved the MVP over Jason Tatum?
Yes. And that's not a knock. I thought Jason Tatum was spectacular. I thought, especially in Game 5, he played in attack mode, got it going from three-point line, got it going, putting his head down and going downhill into that Dallas interior defense, finishing at the rim. But I thought overall Jaylen Brown, offensively, and then taking the responsibility of disrupting Luka Doncic's confidence and didn't allow him to really take over and make an impact to the point where the Dallas Mavericks was winning the series. He was a difference maker defensively. I thought that combined with what he did offensively gave him the nod over Tatum. But to me, it really doesn't matter. You know, at the end of the day, they are both champs because of what they both was able to accomplish and what they were able to accomplish as a team. And I love even listening to their post-game comments, showing love and respect to one another. These two dudes have battled, have fought, have scratched and clawed, have fallen short, and they were overwhelmed with emotions to finally, you know, like I said, knock that door down and consider themselves truly champions, NBA champs. And when you do it as a Boston Celtic, when you think about the tremendous history for the years and years of legendary players and teams for the Boston Celtics, job well done. Those guys will forever be recognized as legends in Boston.
Yeah. This is an impactful win for this organization. I gotta say though, Pops, Jason Tatum was this close. It wasn't even anything that he did on the court that I think that made him not get the MVP. When I was watching on the side, because ESPN, I could tell everybody wanted him to win the MVP. But he put his hands to his face, and the camera was zoomed up close to him. And then when he looked up, I ain't see no tears. I was like, oh, no. Go ahead and give it to Jason. They was like, oh, this is such a great moment. This dude was like this. Somebody was patting his shoulder. He looked up, and I'm like, yo, this dude ain't a tear. It's like, go get Deuce. Go get Deuce. No, jokes aside, man. I agree with you, Pops. They both played well, especially tonight. Jason Tatum came ready to play. He came with that almost Mamba type mentality where he had a message to send. So it was
I
great.
thought not just we isolating on those two guys. I thought they showed what a tremendous team they truly are. When you're talking about
Yeah.
Drew Holiday and his impact on both sides of the floor, you're talking about Derek White and his impact. You're talking about Porzingis coming back, giving him whatever he had in the tank, making sure he didn't end the season in street clothes with his team, giving life to the Dallas Mavericks. And a guy who I believe will ultimately be in the Hall of Fame, Al Horford, underrated not just this year but his entire career. Finally gets the championship he rightfully deserves, conducts himself like a champion, and truly is one of those guys that I believe, whether he won a championship or not, he is a champion. And it's great to see him recognized and to finally, get one for himself.
Yeah, I would say another dude that we haven't touched on and deserves it is Drew Holiday. I think that it's underrated the amount of winning teams that he's been a part of. His professionalism, his ability to bring a culture with him when he comes into an organization is extremely understated. I've watched him go from organization to organization and have this same type of impact, and it's truly amazing. And I tip my hat off to him. I don't know if you want to speak something to what you saw from him tonight in this series, but it's amazing.
No, you take for granted what he brings to the table every single night, and his incredible professionalism, class personified, and doesn't need the basketball to impact the game. I remember years ago coaching the Golden State Warriors and sitting down with Andre Iguodala over a meal, and he said, "I'm gonna tell you something." He said, "Drew Holiday is the greatest defender in the history of the game." I'm like, and this is 10 years ago. I'm like, hold on, slow down. I said, Drew Holiday is an incredible defender, but he's not the best to ever play the game. And now when you fast forward 10 years, 11 years later, it's not ridiculous to make that type of assessment about his defensive prowess from game to game, from the possession to possession, from round to round, from whoever needs to be cooled off. You put him as a Rottweiler on whoever it is, and he does the job time and time again, whether it's a post player, perimeter player, slash, whatever it is. He has everything it takes. And he is in the discussion as the greatest defensive player of all time, in my opinion, because of his versatility. I think you got a handful of guys, and he's a guy that rightfully fits in that discussion. So I apologize, Andre Iguodala. Not that I discounted Drew Holiday and what he does defensively, but I thought it was rare company that he was putting them in, but rightfully so. Spectacular performance. And another guy I want to give credit to is, well, a couple of people. Brad Stevens, who assembled this group, and not just players, but also handpicked Joe Mazzulla. I believe he was the fourth assistant when he had to make a decision who was going to be the next head coach of the Boston Celtics. He handpicked Joe Mazzulla, who did an incredible job and leading this team, setting the tone, having them prepared, organized, just a tremendous job of coaching and leading. So those guys I give a lot of recognition to. And last but not least, why I wanted the Boston Celtics to win, even though I didn't pick them to win. Only one reason, with all due respect to everybody else. My guy, the great Jeff Van Gundy, wins an NBA championship as a senior consultant for the Boston Celtics. Shout out to my guy. Love him and proud of him. So happy for him.
Yeah, that's big, man. Congrats. All right, Pops, let me ask you, was there anything that the Mavericks could have done differently tonight to win this game? Or you think it was only a matter of time?
No, I thought the way that the tone was set initially, I think if you're the Dallas Mavericks leaving game 4, traveling to Boston, you have to be aware of the fact that the start of the game, they're going to try to jump on you. With the fan base of the Boston Celtics, with the energy, the enthusiasm in the building, the all-time greats in the building, the lights being the brightest, you knew they were going to come out and try to hit you with a knockout punch. And I thought the way that the Boston Celtics played in that first half created separation and took pressure off of them. I thought the best results for the Dallas Mavericks would be how they start the ball game. And that's probably the one adjustment or one thing I would say they could have done better is put some pressure on the Celtics by making it close in that first half and then see how they respond. It was easy for them to knock down shots, take and make shots because they had a 10-point cushion, 12-point cushion, a 14-point cushion. those shots are a little bit tougher when it's a tight ball game, and now you got to lock and load and shoot it. So that's the one thing that I would have hoped that they did better. But at the end of the day, the Boston Celtics, they were the best team in the league the entire regular season, and it wasn't even close. I believe a 16-game advantage. And in the postseason, they danced their way to the finals and then only lost one game, which was Game 4 in Dallas. Give them credit. They're the best team in basketball. Now the question is, what do they do moving forward? But stellar performance, not just in this series, but all year long by the Boston Celtics. And I think that's the thing you got to acknowledge. They lost to the better basketball team.
Well, you led me right to my next question. What is the next step, or what do the Mavericks do in this offseason?
To me, don't sit on the lead. You made it to the NBA Finals. It's been an outstanding year. You got a brilliant basketball mind in Jason Kidd and Nico Harrison calling the shots. It's been a tremendous year. You got star power. Now you want to continue the way that you did in the regular season, adding Daniel Gafford, adding P.J. Washington. Add some more pieces that can improve you overall and improve your depth. And then also, one thing you got to do also, you got to let it marinate. You got to let the soup simmer, meaning the experience of what they just went through will ultimately make them better. So you don't want to do anything drastic, but you certainly want to be locked and loaded if an opportunity presents itself to get yourself another star player, another dynamic role player, some more depth. It'll be interesting to see, but I expect to see them make the small steps to make sure that they have an opportunity to duplicate and then to finish the task next season.
Okay, Pops. I hear the Celtics fans already talking about run it back, run it back, run it back. And I look at their roster and it's only about 2 free agents coming up. So do you think that this Celtics team has enough to run it back? Or if you're a part of this staff, are you looking like, let's upgrade?
I always believe in 17 years of playing and 3 years of coaching to always look to upgrade. And that's just the nature of the business because other teams are improving. They're closing the gap. They're getting healthier. They're getting draft picks. They're getting free agents. So you want to make sure that if the opportunity presents itself, I don't owe it to this Boston Celtic team if I'm Brad Stevens. I don't owe it to them to run it back. No, that's foolish to me. I owe it to them to put us in position because at the end of the day, we were the best team in 2024. We won the championship. Now we're talking about moving forward. Let's continue to enhance this lineup. Let's continue to enhance the depth. Let's get a little bit younger. Let's continue to improve. Let's make sure we got our eyes and ears open that if somebody that fits our bill, if a Jrue Holiday falls in our lap, they didn't search for Jrue Holiday. Jrue Holiday became available and they went and got him. You always want to make sure that you're in position that when the fire is hot, you want to be able to react. And to their credit, they did that, and you want to make sure you do it moving forward. So I wouldn't be thinking, let's run it back. No, teams are getting better. Teams are getting healthier. I want to get better also.
Yeah, one thing that we haven't touched on, and it happened a few days ago actually, was I've been seeing a lot of Joel Embiid around Paul George a lot, Pops. I don't know, and that's a dangerous combo if we end up seeing PG in Philly with Embiid. What you think about that?
No, you're talking about Paul George meeting up with Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. That's a heck of a trio. I mean, can flat out score, can defend, can initiate their own offense, can make guys better by their presence and their ability to score. I expect to see the Philadelphia 76ers very aggressive in trying to go after Paul George or a guy like Klay Thompson, or just to improve their roster, get another guy that can, score with ease in that lineup. That's the challenge of your Boston or other teams because teams are looking to make moves. And the rules change because now that there's a champion, you can now all of a sudden as soon as the Boston Celtics won the championship, start to negotiate with your own free agents. So we'll know relatively quickly who signs where and who stays, where they've been. And I think if you're the Clippers, you certainly want to bring Paul George back. But if I'm Paul George, I'm entertaining options and opportunities.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting offseason, Pops. We got to go to Summer League or something. We got to hit a few spots, man. Get the tan. I see you got the Yankees hat. All I see you. You ready to go out? You ready for the summer?
It's baseball time. Basketball's over, man. My Yankees are rolling. Big series moving forward against the Baltimore Orioles, the red-hot Baltimore Orioles. So it's an exciting time.
My man, Dad, can you just talk to me like it's me and you? You don't got to give me the. It's an exciting time. I get, I get it, Pops. Do you want to go see a baseball game? Matter of fact, we did see a win last time we went. Yankees got a win last time we went to go see the Yankees play. So we might have to keep it up.
No, I don't need to take you because you think it's boring. I don't need to take you.
You're a hater, man. You a hater. You climb the list. Out of my top 100 haters, you climb the list every day. I'm watching you. You climb the charts, Pop.
I gotta give credit though. It really was an exciting season, and I look forward to moving forward. But I thought Joe Mazzulla and Jason Kidd did two terrific jobs all season long, and represented coaches extremely well, and did it with class. And really were game changers as far as I'm concerned, paving the way for the next move of brilliant basketball minds on that sideline.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Great coaches. And this was a great playoffs. All overall, I can't lie. This was an entertaining playoffs. Next year, Lakers is coming back, though. Don't worry. LeBron is not done, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, LeBron is returning. I know y'all hate when I talk about him. But he's returning, and we coming back next year. Lakers winning. That's my early prediction. Go take $20, take it, put it down somewhere. Lakers bringing it home.
I knew you'd find a way to get LeBron in this episode, but we're gonna cut it right there. On to moving forward. We look forward to dropping part 2 of the episode with the legend, the great Coach Jeff Van Gundy. Again, congratulations to my guy, my brother, family for life, Jeff Van Gundy. NBA champ with the Boston Celtics. Enjoy.
I tell your dad this all the time, Blue. I still remember I came in the NBA in '89. So that was your dad's third year, right, Jack?
Yes.
Yeah. So I went to Summer League that year. And because I was at an old job, I was coming out there like right at the start of Summer League. So I went to practice, the Summer League practice. And our best player by far was one of your dad's friends, Eddie Lee Wilkins. So Eddie Lee Wilkins, I get to practice, and it just has started. So the coaches don't even introduce me, and I'm just observing, right? Mm-hmm. It's Stu Jackson, Ernie Grenfell, Paul Silas. And I'm watching practice. I'm like, these are the greatest players I've ever seen in my life. We're going to win it all. Like this, practice ends. They say, "Oh yeah, we added this other coach right over here," and so I only knew Stu. And Stu goes, "What'd you think?" And I said, "Man, these guys are awesome." He goes, "These guys stink." What? So now I go to training camp, and this is before everybody now they have all these structured workouts prior to training camp. Back then, you saw them at training camp, right? That's it. Like, I have to say, I probably didn't coach for the first 3 days. I was just looking in amazement. Patrick Ewing is getting hammered and making 17-foot turnaround jump shots. I'm like, how is he like getting that ball off? Your dad is like throwing passes. I'm like, this dude's the most unfundamental guy I've ever seen. Whipping balls behind his head. Nothing's ever with two hands. He can't dribble with his left hand. He doesn't have to. He's always doing it right. He's throwing between the leg passes to a trailer. I'm like, Charles Oakley is the strongest human I've ever seen. I'm like, I hope he doesn't decide to beat me up one day. What are these? Who are these people? Where did they come from? I played my whole life. I've never seen people like this. I'm like, we're winning a championship. He said, hey, I hope we get home court advantage. Home court advantage? Who's going to be better than us? Then I think our opening game was against Detroit. I'm like, all right, I know who's better than us. Thomas was like, he went between his legs one time so fast. I was like, how many times did he go between his legs? It was like 18 times. Until you get to that level, Like, I love when people criticize, like, oh, these guys on the bench. I'm like, these guys on the bench, I used to watch them. They would smoke our starters sometimes. That's how good they were. They just didn't get as many opportunities. But I'm telling you, people who like criticize like NBA players and like I love when somebody says an NBA player is trash. I'm like, I was trash. I thought myself, like, those guys, there's not one guy in the league who isn't just a phenomenal basketball player. Think about it, you're in the top 400 players in your profession in the whole world. It's pretty impressive. You remember those times, Jack, when I came in? I was like a deer in headlights. Like,
Absolutely.
I was
I
like,
tell you what he was, though. He was the hardest working guy in the building. Stayed after, rebound for guys, made sure, like, even working with him as an announcer all these years, we'd get to games early, and he'd be frustrated when assistant coaches aren't throwing pinpoint crisp passes to shooters warming up. He was the best passer, the best rebounder. Tell him what made you a great rebounder in practice, though.
yeah. People always used to say, Blue, hey, do you work out? I said, I don't want to say the guy's name, but I go, no, I just rebound for this guy, and I want to know. But this ball was bouncing over here, over there. You couldn't read it. And like he would hold his follow through like it was going to be a swish, could be an air ball. He would say off, and it would be right down the middle. He had no clue where that ball was going when he shot it, and either did I. So I didn't have to work out. It was like 20 minutes of just full sprint. You want help? No help. Man,
you don't have to say a name, but Pops, you know who he's talking about?
Yeah, I'm not going to mention Greg Anthony, though. No.
Oh, man.
Let me ask you a question as a coach of the Knicks. What were you thinking when you grabbed Alonzo Mourning's leg?
I got to say, you know when criminals plead temporary insanity? I understand why. Because I have no idea what I did. After the fact, I'm like, what did I do? The best part of it was, like, when I got up, they scooped me off the ground and propped me up again. And I looked like I wanted to fight. And, like, Oakley's, like, laughing at me. Think about if they would have said, yeah, you know what? We're going to suspend all decorum rules right here. Go fight him. Go fight Mourning. Yeah. Go ahead, tough guy. Go do it. And I'm like, so then, like, I get in the back and they said, like, you know what you did? And I'm like, I'm looking at him. But the untold story is when Larry Johnson swung, he barely grazed me. But I have what do you call that in boxing when you go down easy, Jack? Like,
you got glass chin.
I had glass jaw. Like, he barely hit me. And I felt, I came, like, I went high and then he hit me. And I'm like, falling back, like on the ground, didn't know where I was at. And man, and you can't avoid it. People always like say, what were you thinking? I'm like, obviously wasn't temporary insanity, but you can't run away from that. Like every year, I get people like sending me like the video, 25th anniversary or 26th anniversary. I'm like, it doesn't look any better than like 26 years ago than it did then, man. It was awful.
Coach, I got to tell you, it's only a few people that got the view of the garden from the floor like that. Me from rolling around while my pops was there, and you being dragged by Alonzo Mourning. So
yeah, if I would have had a camera, I could have shot it from the ground level up. Yeah, not a good look. Not a good look.
And the guy admits he's not a fighter, but tell him your thoughts on Floyd Mayweather.
Well, this is true for sure. My dad and myself, we would debate this all the time. So, Floyd Mayweather, when he used to come to the games, Blue, he would come with, I don't know where he found these security guards. They were the largest humans I've ever seen in my life. Am I right, Jack?
Yeah.
They were like huge, right? But I believe, and I'm it's not even a belief, I know. If Floyd Mayweather walked like in front of me, right? And he was walking this way and I was just standing there and he didn't know it was coming. If I threw my hardest punch, he would go down.
Wait. I did not think you were going to go there. You believe that one punch You knocking him
It'd
out?
be unexpected. Floyd Mayweather's walking this way. I'm standing. He doesn't know it's coming. And I raise up with my Martinez background and I throw a haymaker
Yeah.
and I hit him. He going down.
You know what?
Amen?
I forgot about Martinez. Now that you brought up Martinez, the blood in the streets and everything, you might be able to get him, Coach. I don't know.
Oh my goodness.
All right. I'm going to ask you a question, Blue. You can answer this. We also had this debate. What do you think is more likely? Myself to be able to knock down an unexpected or unsuspecting Floyd Mayweather, or your dad to be able to put 1 out of 10 major league pitches against a good major league pitcher into play? Which one is more likely?
It's more likely that he doesn't have to consistently do 1 for 10, right? He just has to.
No, just 1 out of 10.
There is no way your dad could touch a major league pitcher.
Yeah, but
Floyd in play. No way.
Been getting hit his whole life by real boxers. Like,
not
you give yourself too much credit that you're gonna sleep
not
him off of one.
Huh?
No,
you know, last episode we had Reggie Miller as a guest who watched me play baseball, and I presented him with our argument, and he agreed that I could put 1 in play. Show me your boxing stance. Look at my batting stance. Now, show me your boxing stance. Show me your boxing stance. Look.
Okay.
No. But here's the thing about you and Reggie Miller. Like, you guys, you guys are like those fast friends from Indiana. By the way, your dad never takes credit. Those are some of the dirtiest teams of all time. We were trying to play by the rules in New York, and play with sportsmanship, and your dad with the Davis brothers and McKee, Schmitz, Reggie, flailing around, flopping around, Hayward Workman.
You know the dirty team you coached, the great team, but they were dirty.
No. You guys just brought us down in the mud sometimes. We tried to play in a wonderful fashion. That's the difference. So boy, I'm gonna tell you what, those were some games though. Market Square Arena.
Think about the teams that didn't win a championship that would, I say it respectfully, would win a championship.
Great teams. Like, sometimes Coach Riley said this he used to say it about the Dallas Mavericks when he was back with the Los Angeles Lakers. He said, sometimes you're just born at the wrong time as a team. So for the Mavericks back then, trying to beat, his great Laker teams, or for, the teams in the Eastern Conference at that time, ourselves, Miami, trying to get past the great Bulls team. Sometimes, you have opportunities, like you guys got to a 7th game. We got to a 7th game a couple times, and you couldn't scale Mount Jordan. And so, it's, and that's why I've never been of the belief, like, I bet you have this about some of the people you played with, but some of the players I was fortunate enough to coach both in Houston and in New York, this idea that they're not champions, I just disagree. They didn't win a ring, but not because of that they came up short. They competed and prepared and played as champions.
No
Starks, Oakley, Ewing, Harper, Ward. I could go Spreewell, Houston. I don't want to name everybody because I can't remember everybody.
Yao Ming,
McGrady, Shane Battier, although he won it in Miami. I'm just saying, like, when you put everything into something, that's all you can do. And those Knick teams, and I'm sure you feel the same about those Pacer teams, Jack, they put everything they had into it. I mean, it was one of the greatest experiences of my life. It really was, just because sometimes, even when you put it all in, the deep hurt of not being able to get over the hump, it's hard. It is hard, but it's better than, being, what was that from that poem, those timid souls who never enter the arena. And I was always proud to enter the arena with the guys I coached both in New York and in Houston, because they gave all they could to the cause.
Let me ask you a question because we have a debate here. Who's the greatest basketball player of all time?
The greatest career of I'm gonna break it up because I'm not gonna just fall prey to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm not gonna do that.
Thank
Dude
you.
gonna remix it.
I've been in the corner. He's had me in the corner many times before, and might as well just be yelling "who to who" and coming with up because I don't like being in the corner because he manipulates it, right? So I don't think you can argue that the greatest basketball career to date and still adding to it is LeBron James. I just don't think you can argue that with all he's been able to accomplish, all the records, and really the longevity is just, really an incredible feat. The best player in any one game to win it, if you had to put all the marbles, to state it, there's a lot of ones that you could go with, but my personal one I would take Jordan to win one game, because I think the combination of athleticism, skill, will, was something. People used to ask like, what was the name of that special, that ESPN thing they did on him on, what was the name of that, Last Dance, right?
Yes.
They said, you watched The Last Dance. I said, no, I lived it. And so because, he got 55, like against, he had a double nickel coming back off baseball. 10 days later against the best defense in basketball, back when the rules were not conducive to offensive play, right? There was no freedom of movement. There was freedom to get your head handed to you if you came through the line, right? He got 55 against the New York Knicks on the road and hit Winnington when we doubled late with a Luka Doncic special, like go up and at the last minute, find somebody, and he found Winnington. And so, like, I never seen anything quite like that. Like, guy goes off and plays baseball for 2 years. Hey, I want to play basketball again. 10 days later, he's getting 55 in the Garden again. It's like, what's happening here? So I would go with him in any one game. But there's a number of guys, comparison is the thief of joy. And I know people love the comparative talk, but I think oftentimes when we get into those conversations, unfortunately, people feel diminished. And I don't think you or I or Blue mean that in any way. We're not diminishing anybody's career if we don't pick them. We just think like some of these guys are just, remarkable players.
Fair enough. I appreciate you, Coach, for cleaning up. This dude ready to throw us to the wolves. Why did he throw that question to you?
No, he gave you his
Pop?
answer.
Why are you trying to start drama?
He remixed it and took the long route, but he gave you his answer.
Yeah, I appreciate his answer because you was trying to stir the pot. I saw what you was trying to do.
Your dad is the old. If he had a nickname other than Action, it would have been Pot Stirrer. Like that dude. Did I ever tell you this story, Blue? I think we said this on Jimmy Kimmel one night. When my first year in the NBA, we had a really good team. We had your dad, Gerald Wilkins was our 2, Johnny Newman was our 3, Charles Oakley was our 4, and Patrick was our 5. And these guys were all in their primes. Now we had a young team and they were in their prime, and we could do it. We had Rod Strickland coming off the bench until we traded him for Mo Cheeks, and then Kiki Vanderway. Who am I missing, Jack? Oh, Kenny Skywalker, right? So every day is just such a learning experience. So I'm at practice one day, right? We're at practice. And back then we practiced every day. And when I say practice, I don't mean like walkthrough. I mean 5-on-5. It was like, here we go, right? So, but before practice, I could hear the murmurs that Johnny Newman had driven a new car to practice. And so your dad was like, Jay New, man, that's a nice car. That's a nice car. That's sweet. And I hear him say to Johnny Newman, I'm going to make Gerald Wilkins buy a new car. So all day at practice, Jay New, man, That's sweet car. Sweet over and over and over. It wasn't stopping. Practice the next day, Gerald Wilkins, new car. Pot stirrer, right there.
Yeah, that sounds like him. That's a great. Thank you for sharing that story. That is amazing. Thank you.
Pot stirrer.
Since we sharing stories, let me share one. This is
All
what
right.
this guy. This is what working with him all these years. We get to the airport. I forgot, maybe Miami airport, and we get there
It
early.
was.
We're sitting.
It was.
We're sitting here by the gate, and you know, like one of the workers, the security, is working riding a bicycle through the airport, like a
tricycle, a big tricycle,
a big tricycle.
Okay.
So he gets off the tricycle and he goes to, I guess, to talk to the gate agent, but he leaves the bike. So this dude goes, "You dare me to steal?" This dude say, "You dare me to steal a bike?" I'm like, "There's no way you do it." He said, "How much would you give me to take the bike?" I said, "There's no way you would do that." This dude gets on the bike and rides it home. The guy recognizes that he took the bike. He's running behind Jeff as Jeff is making circles in the airport. This is Jeff Van Gundy in the Miami airport.
This was the biggest tricycle I ever seen in my life. It was like adult size tricycle, right? I mean, it was like huge.
No, it was a big one.
It was also, I was doing that guy a favor because he was embarrassing himself and his family by riding that. Just walk, or take a golf cart, but don't be riding the big trike in public. It was
I've never seen a tricycle at the airport. I never seen that.
No,
different.
This was unbelievable. I actually, he might have been mad at me, but I was saving him from the embarrassment.
Oh man.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Pops.
No, you go ahead.
I wanted to before we go too long with you, because I know your time is valuable. Can you just speak to how special this Boston team is? We're watching them currently, and just speak to how special, or what is special about this team.
You know, Brad Stevens and his staff have assembled a tremendous team. And we know we have so much work left to do because the Dallas Mavericks are so very good. And Doncic and Irving and Jason Kidd's coaching and their whole team, right? So we know we have so much work left to do, and it's going to be a hard series. But what Brad Stevens has done is bring in a highly talented team with exceptional character. When I say drama-free, I mean these guys are absolutely drama-free. I know people would say, "Oh, he's exaggerating." Not one incident of selfishness as far as, guys who aren't playing complaining about it, or guys on the floor think they're being, looked off or looked over. I think Al Horford is an incredible example of everything you'd want in a veteran, as is Drew Holiday. And then you've got our two best, players in Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, who, when they say what they want to do is win and get better, that's exactly what they strive to do on a daily basis. And you surround all those guys with Derek White, and who is just the most affable, nice, great player you'd ever want to see. Like, not a selfish bone in his body, like just beloved by everyone. And then you've got the hardworking Peyton Pritchard and Sam Hauser and Luke Cornett and on and on. So we have this incredible roster of very talented and deep, but exceptional character. And then, Joe Mazzulla, because he took over such a terrific team, I don't think has in his 2 years been given nearly enough credit. And I mentioned it earlier. He is a great leader. Now, this dude, he says he's talking like he got a breathing coach, and he's got he new age now. Like I would say, I sit next to him on the plane, and he's got like stuff, like he's pouring stuff into stuff, and like he's got a concoction. I don't even know what he's, but man, he is a great leader. Yeah. He is a great leader, and the players absolutely love how you don't really know what to expect. Like tomorrow, I have no idea if we're going to watch like the Dallas Clips or we're going to watch some animal rip the heart out of some other animal. Like, you just don't know. And I think it makes it fun. It's like the guys just, and I think it's all compounded by, and I mentioned earlier, great staff chemistry. Charles Lee's going to be the head coach of the Hornets. But he's all in to this championship quest. And we've got Sam Cassell, who got to be one of the funniest people, but he's also super smart. Like sometimes, you get in analytics and all that, and Sam will say, I don't know about all that. I know we need to get a good shot right now. Sometimes, it's like, it slaps you in the face, like common sense. There's still like this place for basketball common sense. And Tony Dobbins is the most underrated. People may not know him, but he'll be a head coach in this league one day. And then, behind the bench, DJ McClay, Matt Reynolds, the whole player performance group. I've learned tons from them, like just absolute tons. But it's all because of Joe's leadership and their chemistry. And because of that, when we do go through tough times, like losing game 2 to Miami and losing game 2 at home to Cleveland, there's been no cracks. And it's hard to go through an NBA season and not get cracked or divided internally for at least points of time. And it hasn't happened. And I give everybody, ownership on down, to Brad and his staff, to Joe and the coaches, man, and the players, most of all, the players. Like this is a high character group that I'm exceptionally proud of being a part of. A very small part, but a part of, because I've learned a lot and they stand for the right things.
Talk to me about the food. That's what I want to know. Tell me about the food.
Hey, all right, now this is the real deal, okay? People ask me, what do you do? And I said, well, I don't really know what I do, but I know I'm first in line for lunch every single day. Like, no one has beaten me to lunch. Now, they have a head chef named Julio.
What's his name?
Julio. I'm sorry, Julio. Julio, if he works for 10 years with the Celtics, he's going in the rafters. The best restaurant in Boston is the Celtics practice facility. I have never seen anything like it. There's great restaurants in the North End, all over Boston, great restaurants, right? Boston Celtics practice facility, number one. This dude is a magician. I don't know how he does it. I mean, my first day in Boston, my choice was steak or lobster roll. I'm like, do I have to pick or can I have it all? I put on 15 pounds since I've been here, and I've been working out harder than I've ever worked out. It's unbelievable. I don't know where they got him. He's going in the rafters.
What's his name?
Julio. He's from Italy. The dude, they got him from Italy. He's so good. And he's an unbelievable ping pong player. He kills the other sous chef, Steve, in ping pong every day. I've never seen anything like it. He's a magician in the kitchen, and he's like, he got to be a top 10 cook ping pong player of all time.
So 10 years he's in the rafters.
He got to be. If he stays here 10 years, I'm going to say this. To pay the luxury tax that the great teams have to pay, I would make Julio do like wedding receptions. You could charge $500,000 for Julio to cater a wedding reception. You think I'm overstating his greatness? This dude had I don't know how he did it. He had steak hanging down from the ceiling. I'm like, on string. I went to try to bite it without even cutting it off. I know you think, oh, this guy's lost it. Maybe I have in other areas, but in food, now I gotta say, terrible snack game. Terrible. There's not a diet soda on the premises. There's no chocolate. Like they think Kind bars replaces like a Kit Kat bar. So, Julio, like I need to be a snack connoisseur for them. I mean, that's the only thing that could elevate. They don't serve dessert. Like,
How do you make it with no dessert?
I don't know. Like, I don't even, maybe it's bad for the guys, but maybe it's good for me. How about that?
I got two questions for you.
By the way, I want to say this is how much it's changed, Jack. When I went to Houston, okay, my first disagreement with my owner there, and he was a great owner, Les Alexander. He said, the spending for breakfast is out of control. I said, what? I said, we just ordered a second box of cereal. We had one box of cereal and one loaf of bread. You either ate the white bread and the Rice Krispies. All I was saying was, let's get a second box of cereal. And he was like, that's doubling the cost. I'm like, yeah, but that's where the food was 20 years ago. And now we got a guy who's so good, he's going to go on the rafters.
I got two questions closing out, if Blue has anything after that. But I lost my incredible parents, my mom a couple of years ago, my dad before that. But the impact that they had, forever grateful, forever love them and appreciate them. You got two legendary parents that, thank God, still alive. Talk to me about their impact on your life.
Yeah, I think when you have like great parents, like for myself, right? Like you don't even know you were born with your foot over home plate. All you have to do is put it down. Like if you screw it up, that's on you, right? And again, like when you're growing up, you don't realize what you're learning, but both were working parents. Back then, I would come home, from elementary school by myself and, get off the bus, go in. My mom was a teacher. My dad was a coach and a professor at the college level. And, they gave you both freedom, but there were also expectations to, do the right thing. And, sometimes my dad would have to cuff me upside the head when I didn't speak to my mom in the correct tone. People said, well, was he a good communicator? And I said, oh yeah, he was a good communicator. I got slapped upside my head. He didn't have to waste a lot of words. I learned pretty quick. Say the wrong thing, pay the price, then it's over. And so, yeah, I mean, like you said, an absolute blessing. And you don't even know what you're learning. And you also, sometimes when you're young, you think you're going to have, you're going to knock parenthood out because right from wrong. And then what you end up doing is a lot of what your parents taught you. And so blessed, that I have a sibling that I talk to near daily and parents that are both healthy enough to still be active and, fun. My mom is a diehard, as my dad is now, a Tampa Bay Ray fan and bemoaning their lack of pitching and hitting this year, or whatever. But, to be able to call up and talk baseball and, listen to some crazy things they may say every now and then, it's just like, man, it is an absolute blessing. And Blue, your dad should be ashamed of himself. Last year, your dad made fun of me for the nickname my dad gave me when I was a little guy on national TV.
Wow.
My dad, because we loved hot dogs, called me Jefferino Hot Dog Buddy. And your dad made fun of that. And
it's not funny at all.
My dad is still hurt. He's still hurt by that.
Yeah, that's not right, Pops. What was it again? Frank-Reno? What was it?
Jefferino Hot Dog Buddy. Because he would wake me up at midnight and we'd go get some hot dogs in Oakland. Yeah. And your dad had a good laugh about that.
Let me ask you, Coach, was this common knowledge before he made fun of you about it?
No, it was
That's
said in
messed up.
confidence. See, that's the problem. I said it
messed
to him
up.
in confidence. I
It's
said,
messed
"Hey,
up.
this is what my dad used to call me, dude." I think it was in the finals, like
Yeah,
fourth
that's messed
quarter.
up.
Hey, blowout. Hey, what'd your dad call you? I'm like, what? Dad.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Coach. This was an amazing time talking to you, and it's not enough that I can say personally to the admiration that I have for you as a coach, as a man. I've seen you over the years, and I just appreciate you taking the time out to even come on the show, share your knowledge, your humor, and just some of your personality today. So it means so much, Coach. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Hey, what's that promo code again? Did we change it or do we
Oh,
keep
no,
it?
no. It's time. How'd you know? You must know. It is that time.
It's time. Because I watched the show. What do you mean? I know it's time. Let's get that promo
Oh,
code on.
you want to do it, Coach? No, they might have to give you a check.
Underdog.
No, don't do it. Don't do it, Coach.
Promo code MARK.
Underdog Fantasy, man. Click the link in the description. Use the promo code MARK, not CARK. That's MARK. And they are giving a first-time deposit of up to $250. We appreciate y'all. I appreciate that, Coach. That was good. We was talking about teamwork. That was good. That was nice.
That's it. That's it. Thank you guys for having me on, and continued great work and blessings to all of you.
Love you, man. Coach. Appreciate you.
Love you too, Coach. Brother. Later.
That's a wrap for this episode of the Mark Jackson Show. I'm Mark Jackson. This is my guy, Blue, the great one, future Hall of Famer, Coach Jeff Van Gundy, family for life. Thank you for joining us. Remember, a little over a year ago, I tore my Achilles. I was on my way home after surgery, and there's 2 steps that I have to take to get into my house. I went to take the first step with my motor scooter and my crutch, and I fell into my neighbor's bush. I fell into my neighbor's bush with my middle son, JetStanley, alongside of me. He went to grab me to help me up, got halfway up, and I realized I'm a little bit too heavy for him. I gave up myself and surrendered back into the bush. It wasn't until a couple of minutes later that the neighbors came home, a beautiful couple. The husband and JetStanley both grabbed me, helped me up, led me to the front of the house. 2 stupid steps, 2 obstacles that I have crossed for millions of times in my life, I stumbled on. You think I'm talking about those steps? I'm talking about you. Because a year later, I testify walking past it with a bounce, with a swag and a belief, and they're no longer issues. But here you are, stuck on the drugstore, stuck on alcoholics, stuck on different things that you got no business, going to sites you got no business going to. Little stupid obstacles that's preventing you from having a bounce and a swag. I tell you to get past it and get your walk back. Blessings.